Graham G.S. Matthews here with Bleacher Report, sitting with the Raw Women's Champion, Nikki A.S.H, and she's got the championship and everything. Nikki, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
How are you today?
Doing great. I know we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and one of the first questions I asked you then was, had you seen Suicide Squad yet? It's been a couple of weeks removed. Have you seen it yet, or not yet?
I saw it.
Okay, give me your thoughts.
I think it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. Like, I loved the first one. I did love the first one as well. But the second one was just so, like, I don't know, it's so charming. Like, I don't know, I loved it. I loved it. And yeah, probably rewatch it soon.
Yep. Well, obviously going into this weekend, we got SummerSlam on Saturday, Allegiant Stadium here in Las Vegas. You're going to be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, triple threat match. Is there any inspiration that you draw from a movie like that or any superhero movie going into a match like that on Saturday?
So for me, I'm very inspired by Supergirl.
Yep.
So, I've been rewatching that series, and just her whole message, and she about love and compassion and hope, and she just tries. And I just think that's really a positive message to kind of live your life around. So for me, for tomorrow, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best and retain my Raw Women's Championship, hopefully, So for me, like, I put no matter what I do in life, I always put 200, 300% in. I go all in, and SummerSlam will be no different.
That's been especially evident in recent weeks with you as the Raw Women's Champion and all the matches that you've had. Going into Sunday, this has got to be your toughest challenge to date against not just one, but two former Raw Women's Champions. How do you prepare for a match like this?
For me, I mean, this is the biggest match of my life. Mm-hmm. This is the biggest match of my career. And for me, like, preparing for it, you're watching so many different tapes and so many different matches. You're in the gym, you're stretching, you're working out, you're keeping yourself in tip-top shape. And then, I'm going into this match, I am, just mentioned the Raw Women's Champion.
Of course.
I'm going into this match as the underdog. Mm-hmm. I'm going in as the smaller competitor, and I thrive on that. Like, I love that challenge and thinking, okay, what can I do as a smaller competitor, and what creative things can I come up with in the match? So it's a very exciting role to be in as a performer. So yeah, I'm just on cloud nine.
And not just any ordinary match. I mean, this is SummerSlam, the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, arguably right behind WrestleMania. And you were on the show 2 years ago on the pre-show, the tag team title match. We discussed this before. But going into SummerSlam, any favorite memories of your favorite installments of the biggest party of the summer? Whether it be shows that you were with the company for or before that or whatever it might be.
I mean, one of my favorite all-time matches was Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle.
One of the greatest SummerSlam openers of all time.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I love Rey Mysterio, because, Rey's also a smaller competitor. Yeah. I've been watching a lot of, Rey's things, and, I think Rey's absolutely wonderful. I think Kurt Angle's wonderful. And that's one of my favorite moments. I absolutely loved that match. So that's definitely a fond memory. Very fond memory. And then, Randy Orton, I think he won his first World Championship.
He did in 04, yeah.
And that was such a great moment for Randy too. So I think SummerSlam, as you said, is one of our biggest events of the entire year. And to be a part of it is just incredible. And even, the kickoff show a couple of years ago with Iconics and myself and Alexa Bliss, that was awesome too. So it was just like, wow. Wow.
And that was like the lone show in Canada, because I think prior to that point, SummerSlam for a while was in the Barclays Center every year. Yeah. Before that, it was in New York every year. They had one Canada show, and then COVID hit. But we're back in Las Vegas this year. It's an exciting atmosphere. Any experiences so far from Vegas? I mean, obviously, it's not your first time in Vegas, right?
It's actually my first time in Vegas.
Really?
For more than so whenever I've been here in the past, it's always been for a show, and it's always been in and out.
Gotcha.
So this is my first time here for more than one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I think it's such a beautiful city, at night time, and the lights is all lit up, and I can see the view from my hotel room, and it's just so pretty. I love, I'm a big city girl. I love cities. So my favorite thing is looking out of a window and seeing all the bright lights at night time. Yep. That's why I love New York. I'm a big city girl. So yeah, this is my first time in Vegas for more than one day, so it's an experience.
Yeah, I was going to ask like what your type of atmosphere was. I'm the exact opposite. I don't like the big city type of thing, like New York, Vegas, but it's been cool though. There's a lot of stuff to do here. We're here all weekend for SummerSlam, going into Saturday. You win on Saturday. What's the first thing you do to celebrate?
Say that again?
Oh, sorry. If you win on Saturday, what's the first thing you do to celebrate?
What's the first thing I do to celebrate? So my favourite thing is like, after a match or after, a huge win or after a match, I really like sitting in the locker room and like I check in with my family, I check in with my husband, my friends, like the people I love, let them know, hey, I'm feeling good, and just decompress and just take it all in. I think sometimes like as a WWE superstar, everything is go, 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 and I think it's really, particularly for me and my entire wrestling journey, it's always been like go, 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 okay, let's go. Like, that's me as a person, like go, go, go. And I think it's really important to take in those moments. So, the last couple of years I've been better with, taking in the moment. So, like, it sounds like so simple, but for me, like, I get to the locker room, I find a quiet spot, and I just take it all in and check in with the ones that I love. Tell them I'm good, and that's just what I do.
Was there any one cool text? I mean, obviously you won the Raw Women's Championship literally a day after becoming Miss Money in the Bank. I mean, there was like, the turnaround time was amazing. So,
it was a crazy 24 hours.
I can believe that. Is there any one cool piece of feedback that you got from whether it be one of your peers, family member, Vince himself, or whatever, upon winning these accomplishments, you're like, wow, that really stuck with me. I will never forget that.
So I came from the back. Okay. So I won the Raw Women's Championship, celebrated in the crowd, went round. Like I felt like I was going to like go and say hi to everyone in that arena. And I come from the back in Gorilla, and the locker room is there waiting for me, and they hoist me up on their shoulders, and they're like, and that was such a wonderful moment, because being Raw Women's Champion is amazing. Money in the Bank winner, amazing. Being a WWE superstar, amazing. And having the respect of your peers and feeling their joy at me winning the big one. Man, I'm getting choked up thinking about it.
It's an amazing moment, and it's well deserved.
It was such a beautiful. I remember Tamina, who I always call her Mama Bear in the locker room, just gives me this big, massive hug, and I just start crying. Oh, man. And she's crying too, and it's just a beautiful moment. And I see Sarah Schreiber, who's one of my best friends, and I give her a massive hug, and it was just so special. Like the locker room, literally, because I didn't tell anyone, because, I didn't tell anyone because you
also never know what plans change on a dime,
I didn't know. So. And then, so I expected like a couple of people to be in the locker room, like, I knew Sarah would be there, just because that's one of my best friends. Like, I thought there'd be a couple of people there, and I'd go into a packed Gorilla, and everyone's like cheering and hoisting me up, and it was just, I don't know, it just shows me that I've carried myself in a way that I did something right, something to be proud of, because I always believe in carrying yourself in a certain way and always treat people with kindness. And seeing that moment, I was like, okay, good. I did the right thing. I lived my life being able to look myself in the mirror every night like I did something right.
For sure. And that's how you know it was well-deserved, too. I mean, you've been here a long time. You've been with the company for 5 years now. I don't know the exact day, but we're coming up on the exact 5-year anniversary of when you debuted on NXT TV. And now you're going to SummerSlam as the Raw Women's Champion. It was like a tag team match. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was like
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was myself, Liv Morgan, and Carmella versus Alexa Bliss, Mandy, and Sonya.
Yep.
And NXT, 6-person tag, and wow.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't know if that was that taped before the draft or after the draft? Because Carmella and Alexa Bliss went to SmackDown at that point.
That was taped before the...
Oh, before?
No.
Maybe it was around that time.
So we taped it before the draft. The draft happened.
Yeah.
It aired after the draft.
Oh, okay.
So the tape date was different from the air date.
Yeah. Like about a month too, and then they were already on SmackDown. You're coming in, and that was when you were still Nikki Glenncross on the show,
I
right?
debuted as Nikki Glenncross.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
That's wild.
Sanity was 1 month later.
Yeah.
So I've got hair on my face. I'm like,
You're good. But I mean, it's amazing to look back on that anniversary. Literally, I got to go back and look at the dates. Almost exactly 5 years to the day, defending the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam. Hell of a transformation, hell of a journey.
wow.
That's
I
good.
didn't even think of that until you just said that. Oh my goodness. 5 years. Oh my wow. Good Lord.
Amazing. And you look at everyone else in that match. Alexa Bliss is on the SummerSlam card too.
Yep.
Liv Morgan's on SmackDown. Carmella's doing her thing on SmackDown. It's such an array of talent, and to think that, going forward, you guys are like the new crop of talent, the core group of girls on Raw and SmackDown. It's awesome. But you mentioned Rey Mysterio earlier. He's a big superhero guy as well. Have you talked to him about any superhero inspiration? Because he would always have like the Joker mask or superhero masks and stuff like that.
Oh, I mean, Ray is the coolest. Ray being on SmackDown,
that's true, yeah.
So, but for me, Hurricane, Shane, works backstage in WWE as a producer. So it's Shane, and Shane has he was the superhero. He was the WWE's resident superhero. So he's been wonderful and so approachable, and just helping me so much. Even with when you compete in your mask.
Yeah.
The mask needs to stay on your face, so do whatever, certain straps have to be in certain places.
Sure.
So he was super helpful, and I'm very grateful for Hurricane. He's obviously a big superhero person too, so, he was one of the first people I talked to about this, and just was like, hey, what do you think about this? Is this okay? Because, I respect him too, and as a professional, and that courtesy to someone who's came before you, you want to pay respect you want to pay respect to the path that was paved, but you also want to pave your own path.
Of course.
And respect is a massive thing to me, so it was lovely to speak to Shane.
And he's in the fold, obviously, right now behind the scenes. Mighty Molly's now working for the company as producer. It's a very exciting time in WWE for superheroes. As a massive superhero fan yourself, any one cool superhero thing in your collection that you're like, this is like my most prized possession? Like for me, I have an Infinity Gauntlet. For you, do you have anything like that, or are you just a massive superhero fan?
Massive superhero fan. I've got a Captain Marvel Funko.
Okay.
That's my prized possession. So I love Captain Marvel.
Do you collect the Funko Pops? Or
I've got 11.
That's
I've got 11 from Stranger Things. I've got a lot of Bob's Burgers characters because I'm a massive fan of Bob's Burgers.
Good show.
I absolutely adore Funko. I love Funko.
Is the next goal getting your own Funko Pop?
Yeah, absolutely.
As Nikki A.S.H.
As Nikki A.S.H. 100%.
It's got to happen. It could be in the superhero section, and it can be in the WWE section.
Yes.
We're all fans here. Is there any part of a wrestling memorabilia that you have that it's like, this is my most prized possession? Like growing up a fan, an autograph that you have, or a picture, or anything like that, anything that you've collected that it's like, this is my most prized wrestling possession?
So whenever they have really big moments, Money in the Bank contract, Monday Night Raw cash-in, when I debuted on Raw, when I did the match with Becky in SmackDown in Manchester, NXT takeover, Asuka, last woman standing in NXT. I always keep the paper copy of the cards, and I always keep them. Yeah. And I have some posters, like my first ever poster I was on for NXT. Like I keep certain things. Like I'm pretty sentimental. So I keep things, the card, the running orders and stuff like that, and just little things.
Do you get to keep the briefcase, the Money in the Bank briefcase, or no? Or did you have
I wanted to put a cape on her.
Really?
Yeah, I was going to put a cape on her, but then we cashed in.
It was a pretty quick turnaround. Yeah.
I definitely want to ask for like a little memorabilia there.
They don't let you keep the briefcase?
Well, because they have to, they have to spruce it up for next year.
I guess. I thought
they have to spruce it up for next year.
Sometimes they get like beaten up and stuff like that. So I thought they would.
So they need to give it TLC. They have to give it tender loving care.
I guess so. That makes sense. But you got the Raw Women's Championship, which is a far greater prize. That's all you need right there is the championship itself. You're defending it tomorrow, or today's Friday, I forget the day. Tomorrow, Saturday, SummerSlam, Allegiant Stadium here in Vegas. Nikki A.S.H, Raw Women's Champion. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.